my beautiful community, my Sangha. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this ride along. And I just want to share some words of wisdom from the Hinduism text, the Upanishads. So it starts at the very beginning. It says, "You are what your deep driving desire is. As your desire is, so is your will. As your will is, so is your deed. As your deed is, so is your destiny." Like, how powerful. It just reminds me about, our thoughts are so powerful. Everything we think and say has so much power to it. Now, there's another piece at the beginning that I wanted to read a little piece to you. Imagine a vast hall in Anglo-Saxon England, not long after the passing of King Arthur. It is the dead of winter, and a fierce snowstorm rages outside, but a great fire fills the space within the hall with warmth and light. Now and then, a sparrow darts in for refuge from the weather. It appears as if from nowhere, flits about joyfully in the light, and then disappears again. And where it comes from and where it goes next in that stormy darkness, we do not know. Our lives are like that, suggest an old story and Bede's medieval history of England. We spend our days in the familiar world of our five senses, what we call the 3D world. But what lies beyond that, if anything, we have no idea. Those sparrows are hints of something more outside. A vast world, perhaps, waiting to be explored. But most of us are happy to stay where we are. We may even be a bit afraid to venture into the unknown. What would be the point, we wonder? Why should we leave the world we know? And this reminded me when I first started my spiritual journey, like how I questioned, I've always been in and out of religion, and organized religion I struggled with because I felt this higher power that's all so loving. And I struggled with the doom and gloom of like sending people to hell that you hear a lot of times in organized religion. And so as I became more spiritual over the past 6 months, and I also gained sobriety, my higher power I've seen my higher power more. But, my ego and my head gets in the way sometimes and questions it and like wants to stay in the 3D world at times. Like, just wants to dismiss the magic. And especially in the very beginning, I had to like tell my ego, stop. That is real. Like, this is a magical world that we live in. It's such a beautiful world. And thank God, through the program of recovery that I work, AA, has reminded me about prayer and prayer all throughout the day. As spiritual as I thought I wasn't praying consistently. And that is one thing. Right now I'm working in AA, what they call the fourth step. And I'm listing, resentments and my part of those resentments. I'm writing down my fears. I'm writing down people I've hurt. And I wasn't praying when I started that. And thank God I went to an AA meeting the other day and they asked for a topic and I was like, fourth step. And luckily a sober brother reminded me about, in his course of action, he prayed constantly. And then even I was struggling with my meditation and feeling like I should be further along in my meditation practice, being hard on myself. And my guided meditation book on the stages of the path reminded me that before I meditate, I need to pray. I wasn't doing that. So prayer is so powerful, and seeking the beyond the 3D world is what I'm about now. It brings me so much peace and happiness, and I'm so thankful for it. There was one more thing that I wanted to read to y'all, and it says, there is no joy in the finite. There is joy only in the infinite. And it also says, this quote says, I had been seeking everywhere what lay in my own home. It's like, even with my tarot deck, it just reminds many, I've been doing tarot readings for other people, and it just reminds us, like, just to have gratitude for what we have. There's so many beautiful things around us, but this world teaches us to be obsessed with like what we don't have and to try to seek what we don't have instead of enjoying what we do have. So, yeah, I'm just so grateful. I love sharing. I love community, especially a community that aligns with my higher self and my positive self. So, thank you for all your positivity that you bring to this channel. Um, y'all help me to stay sober. So, thank you for that. And remember, we're always loved, guided, and protected. Namaste.